Meine Damen und Herren, this is a conference about entrepreneurship, ethics, and health. And I am here to present a little cute project from Sweden about bees. And what has bees got to do with these topics? I'm going to start off with two questions. And the first one is, where does the food you eat come from? And sadly, in our day of time, most people simply answer that the food that we eat comes from the shop. But, meine Damen und Herren, we do need to lift our noses slightly higher than that. Most of the things that we eat comes from things that are growing. Even the meat that we eat comes from animals that eat things that have been growing. And things that are growing needs to be pollinated. And sadly, worldwide today, the pollinators are dying. The second question is, what has bees got to do with ethics and health? And we do need to start to see bees as the key in a chain that keeps us all alive. Bees are the insects that does most of the pollination worldwide. So yes, bees are very, very important. And here is why. 90% of the pollination is made by insects. The other 10% is made by wind and rain and hand, and I will get back to that. There is a total amount of 100 species that do the pollination. Most of these species are red listed and is about to die if we don't do something about the biological diversity. Out of those 100 species, bees do 70% of the total pollination worldwide. Within the European Union, 76% of the things that we eat are pollinated by bees. And it takes 1,000 people with little brushes to do one bee's job during one day. So there is no sustainable solution if the bees are disappearing. Are you with me? Yes, good. So if we ask ourselves, what has bees got to do with the ethical point of view, then we simply have to ask ourselves, what world would we like to pass on to coming generations? And if we want to pass on a good world, we do need to take these questions about the biological diversity seriously. Many researchers claim that the threats to the biological diversity is as threatening as the climate change. But the climate change gets much more time up on the agenda, but we need to start to look at the biological diversity to maintain that as well. So what does we do in Adopt a Bee? Adopt a Bee is just two people at the moment. It's myself, Sofi, and my colleague Stina that sits over there. Stina is the beekeeper in the project. We started this project in September last year. And we had become aware of those threats to the bees, that the bees are dying globally. So we were sitting thinking, should we just sit and think, or should we actually act? And we decided that, if we can, we're going to do something. And thankfully, this was in September, and the bees are asleep during the winter, so we had a few months to plan what we were going to do. And the plan we come up with have ended up that in the hometown of Stina, a little town in Sweden named Hässleholm, we have put out our first 9 beehives. The 10th will come this Sunday. We set a target that the first year we're going to have 10 beehives. The beehives we put out in ordinary people's gardens, and the garden owners doesn't pay anything to have the bees. And then Stina take our bike and trolley and bike around every 10th day to take care of the bees. Our hope is, of course, that the garden owners will get familiar with the bees and take part in the taking care of them, and eventually they will take over the beehives so we can buy more. If you can't have a beehive, such as us that actually lives in flats, we sell shares within the beehives. And a share you buy to increase the amount of pollinators within your society. And as a thank you for buying a share, the bees will work hard to fill 2 jars of honey for you that you get by the end of the autumn. Our goal was to sell 80 shares, and actually we have sold 83, so it's going better than expected. If you're a shareholder, you're more than welcome to come and visit the bees, but if you can't come to Hässleholm, you can follow the work on our website, adoptebee.se. To start up with beekeeping, you do need quite a lot of material. You need protective clothing, and of course you need the bees and the beehives. So to be able to start up, we have got an EU grant, and we have done a bit of a calculation. We got 10,000 euros from the EU's agricultural fund leader. And there is 500 million European citizens within the EU. So like everyone in here have sponsored us with like something less than a cent each, even less than that. And we think that is kind of well invested money from the European Union. So we are very thankful for their support. The future for Adopt a Bee looks quite bright. We now have our first beehives. We're of course planning to produce the honey and give the honey to the shareholders by the end of the summer. We are also thinking of using the bee wax to make different candles and lip balms and so on. And we are also planning to write a children's book about Sofina and the bees. The European Union has the motto, and now I'm going to try to say this in German, in Vielfalt geeint, united in diversity. And our hope is that Sofina and the bees could be the thing that unites us. Within the European countries, we have different cultures, we have different languages, but we all need the bees. So our hope is that Sofina and the bees will be translated to all the official European languages within the EU. And you can have a look at our webpage on what language we're still missing if you want to help out. And the hope is to get the book published sometimes during next year. So the future is bright for Adopt a Bee. But at the moment, the future for the bees isn't that bright. So this is a call for action. You can choose to support Adopt a Bee, but there is also many other local bee projects in all the European countries. And we do need the bees, so please help the bees. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Adopt a Bee. Thank you very much.